Do you remember the old game of telephone you used to play in grade school? Where you'd have one person at the beginning would have a word or phrase, and they'd pass that on to the next person, and then at the end it would get so distorted. That's what today's modern Bible interpretation is. That last distorted version that we have. And we talk about this in our podcast, the Danny Can podcast, where we're talking about the cyclical pattern of things in the world. We see it from nature, the seasons every day. Every few months, a new season comes around. We see the tide coming in and out, the moon, full moon to no moon to back to full again. It happens in our social political areas too, where we have political influence. People refer to the pendulum of power, where it goes extreme right, like today, and then eventually it'll swing back extreme left. And you get that little grace period in the middle here and there, but it keeps swinging back and forth. So many things in our lives are just affected by cycles that happen, and just recognizing that we're in another cycle. We're at this point. And I think one good sign of this is that we're seeing another cycle in religious and just spiritual influence in the world, because the Bible has become so distorted from this game of telephone, and so many hands-on through history of interpretation of the Bible to fit specific motives, to fit people's personal desires on what it needs to say to make themselves right. They use the Bible to justify their own thoughts instead of trying to be having the teachings that are in there interpret what they do in their life. And they pass that on to other peoples to convince them that this is the right way. And it's gotten so askew from what the original teachings were that anybody that with any spiritual background could look at it and be like, there's some decent stuff in there on how to treat others, how to live in this world humanely and compassionately and empathetically, that we don't see in modern churches today. You don't hear that from pulpits, and think people are starting to realize that slowly. They see this, it's not jiving with them, and they're seeing how far it's gone. It's the start of another cycle. You see these happening, and in religious areas you see it happening too, where there's a great spiritual rebirth, a redefinition of what to follow, and a concentration back to the opposite side. So I'm hopeful that in the next few years we see something where it's more about the just inner person and growth internally and being better for ourselves to allow us to be better to our communities and allow us to grow and prosper in this world mentally, spiritually, in all sorts of ways, because we embrace humanity. We embrace opposition. We embrace different points of view. And instead of trying to teach and force our thoughts on everyone, we actually learn from others and let that shape us more so than us trying to shape the whole world around us.